good.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. We are super excited for you to be part of the first edition of TestMu Conference. I am Sudhi Joshi and I'll be your host for this session. Before we start the session, we would like to thank all our partners for supporting us and being a part of this event. We encourage all you to go back and check out their booths from reception if you wish to connect with them later. So let me introduce you to our session speaker, Daniel Knott. He works as the head of product quality testing at MaibornWolff, where he shapes the future of testing for his clients. In the past 13 years, he has worked as a lead software test engineer for different native mobile apps and products. In fact, Daniel has authored 2 books. One is Hands-on Mobile App Testing and Smartwatch App Testing, and he's also a frequent blogger. Today, he's going to talk about the testing wheel. What is it? How can a leader and their direct reportees benefit from it? And how to configure the testing wheel for individual needs. And finally, how to use the results from the testing wheel to shape the testing team. Are you all excited? Please welcome Daniel Knott.
Thank you very much for the really nice introduction, Satir. I'm going to share my screen now. So a couple of seconds and you should see my slides. You can see them? Perfect. So yeah, hi everyone. It's really nice to be part of TestMu Conference this year here, 2022. It's a pity that I can't see all of you. I just see some emojis popping from the bottom up. That's a really nice feedback. Thank you already so far for that. And oh yeah, there are more coming in. And welcome to my talk. I mean, there's basically nothing more to say for the introduction to my talk. And this talk is going to be about how to grow your testing team members, basically. So it's not only for team leaders, but also if you are in a team and you have a team lead, which I guess is the case, right? So the testing wheel is something that you can also use and bring into your direct report or to your team leader in order to help your career, basically. So let's get into it. Need to click the right window. So yes, and this is, we can also keep it short. That's me. Hi, I'm Daniel Knott, working as a head of product quality engineering at MaibornWolff in Germany. I'm based in northern Germany in Hamburg, and yeah, I'm leading the department there together with another colleague, and we are building software for our clients, being it web, being it mobile, being it IoT application, backend APIs, whatever you can build and whatever you can test, basically. And since I moved into the management position, I'm still a mobile tester by heart, right? I mean, I am, as you heard in the introduction, I wrote 2 books. One is called Hands-on Mobile App Testing. It got translated into German. It's called Mobile App Testing, and I also did something for smartwatches. And as you can see from the following links, I created a YouTube channel this year because I wanted to try something out, something new, because I'm a blogger since 11 years now on my Adventures in QA blog, and I love writing. But I had the feeling this year maybe there's something new that I can learn, explore, and then and also give back again to the testing community, because this is what I really like to do, you know, to share my knowledge, to give some impulses to the community, to see if those ideas that I have reflect with others. And this is also basically how I came to this talk and to this article that I also posted about it, the testing wheel. So let's get right into it. I want to start basically with a question, and you should think about this for a second. So when was the last time you gave or received any career advice? Think about it for a second. When was it? Was it today? Was it yesterday? Was it last week, the week before, or it never happened? I hope not. I hope that you get like lots of career advices and help from your maybe from your direct peers, from your co-workers, you get feedback, but also from your managers, because I think that's really important for us, that we evolve over time and to get better with what we're doing, and also that we know in which direction we would like to go, because we're changing over time, right? I mean, I started my career in software testing more than 13 years ago, but in between I had the feeling I want to change, I want to do something different. And so that's why I stepped up from the testing side and was the product manager, for example, for more than almost 4 years in the company. So, and I gained so many new exciting impulses and experiences based on that time. And now I'm back to testing, which I think is good. But I think the career path that we're all going to take is not a straight one. You know, it's like you have some curves, you have detours. Sometimes you go back to go to the next step. Yeah, and so I hope you received some career advice. If not, maybe the testing wheel might help you in the future. Yeah, that's just a picture of people, right? I mean, people are different. That's what you all know, right? We have individual colleagues in the team. We have individual colleagues that are working with together. Especially we are software testers. We tend to work with developers, with designers, with UX designers, with product managers, maybe with stakeholders, sometimes with customers, and we need to evolve different skill set, right? And all of us, we have different skill sets and individual levels. So looking at my team, in my team, I have working students that are still at the university. But at the same time, I am also having executives in my team that leading also teams in my department. So we all have different skill set. And as a modern leader, I have to say you have to adapt to the different people in your department, what are their needs, what they are looking for, and these kind of things. And of course, there might be potential conflicts with when managing people, but that's normal, right? And this is something that we have to accept. And also, each person in your team has different ideas. They would like to tackle different challenges, let's say. So yeah, they would like to maybe become more really technical, would like to learn all about test automation, software development. But on the other hand, you have colleagues in your team that would like to go more in the direction of people management, or into agile coaching, or product quality coaching, or so other and so forth. So you have to really adapt on the people needs. Yeah, because everyone, they have a different direction, as I said already. They would like to go different paths, and you as a leader, you have to adapt to those paths and to give the people guidance, because that's really important. Because otherwise, they might leave your company or they might leave your team. So you really have to take the time and you also need to invest the time into your team members to grow them, to help them grow. You know, to, like in this case, like the flowers, to start growing, to become big. Sometimes I think it's even more important that they have more knowledge than that the team leader has, for example. So they should be even better and more experts than myself. That's my goal, actually, that they know more about testing techniques than myself, because then I think I did a great job in terms of people development and people growing. And because I think that you have to invest the time in this growing path, because otherwise you're not remaining relevant for those candidates and for those talents. And if they don't have the feeling that they get support and the help, they might change the company, right? If they get bored, for example, or if they don't see the next step and these kind of things. And that's where basically the testing wheel kicks in. This is something that I derive, basically. It's a bit of a copycat, I have to say, and I would like to give kudos to Petra Wille. I bet you don't know her. She is a well-known product management expert from Germany, and yeah, I derive basically the testing wheel from the product management wheel. And I found out about the wheel when I read her book. It's called Strong Product People. When I was working as a product manager, I was reading the book because I would like to know more about, how to become maybe a product leader and these kind of things. And I was hooked about the wheel because I think that's really cool. It's easy to adapt. It's easy to start discussions. And then I thought, okay, I need to derive it and to create a testing wheel and also to share it with the testing community, because I think it's helpful for us, for our craft, and in order to get better. Yeah, so as I said, I modified it to the testing wheel. It should be there to lead and to help testers and to get better. So let's take a look at the wheel in detail. The wheel has 8 categories. Yeah, those 8 categories that I created there is understanding the project need. Yeah, so is everything clear on the project side? Testing essentials, I call the category. I come to each category later. Don't be afraid. The third one is test automation. The fourth one is get it done. What's behind that topic, I'll explain you in a second, just revealing all the categories. Fifth one is listen and learn. Sixth one is the testing team. Seventh is the personal growth. And last but not least, it's the category of agile. So one thing that I have and that I would like to mention before we dive into the testing wheel, it's basically a disclaimer, right? That's what I also told my people, and when I did the testing wheel in the past with others, the testing wheel is let's say it's an instrument, it's a helpful tool for a team leader or for a person in a team to get let's say to get a discussion going. It should not be used to actually to do any performance reviews on the person, right? So it's just to bring up some lights on the different categories, like where is the person standing, in which direction he or she can develop, and where do the direct report and the team leader see differences and these kind of things. And it should help to start a discussion, to trigger discussions, because I think it's wrong to use such an instrument for performance reviews. There are other tools that you can use in order to do performance reviews, but at least from my attention, the testing wheel should not be used for this kind of things. So without any more waiting on your side, let's jump into the first category. So understand the project need. What is that? What's meant with that category? Yeah. Are you as a project member or as a product team member, depending on your company, depending what you're doing, aware of the project or product needs? Do you understand your role within the project and team? So it's a pretty basic question that you can ask or that you should answer yourself when filling out the testing wheel. If you understand everything in your project, it might be the case that you are like a really experienced person and you go into a project, you have an onboarding phase, and based on your experiences, for example, you know the tech stack, you know the toolings, you are really like comfortable in setting your working space, right? You can help others really fast and so forth. But it doesn't mean the same situation for somebody just coming from a university, for example. This person need more guidance, right? Need to more help in terms of understanding the project needs. Another question that you can ask yourself is, do you know your task and the goals? It's a bit different than just the project needs. It's more a bigger topic, like more holistic one, and specific tasks and goals should also be clear, because only if you know your tasks and your goals, you can do the next steps and to establish something good and to help the team to deliver high quality products to your customers. That was the first category. Second one, I called it testing essentials. Yeah, first question that you can ask is, do you know the testing methods that are required to perform, for example, manual testing? And here are some examples. So is the person aware of exploratory testing techniques? Boundary values, yeah, is this known to you? Classic decision tables. I just open up some of the things and so forth and so forth. Yeah. Another thing that I usually try to teach people is the concept of the whole team approach to quality testing clear, right? So it should not be like the tester's only responsibility to take care of quality. This is bad if this is the case, right? So the whole team should take care of it. And this is something that you can also find out while filling out the testing essentials in the testing wheel by answering those questions. Is the concept, for example, of a testing pyramid or the agile testing quadrants clear? I know some of you don't like the testing pyramid. They think it's outdated. Yes, at some point it's the case, but there are other concepts like the testing quadrants. Is this clear for you? And is this something that you need to learn more about it, for example? Or are you available? Are you familiar with functional, non-functional testing approaches? Is this something that you would like to learn? And so forth and so forth. So these are questions that helps to categorize in the testing essentials area. Next topic is test automation. Are you able to set up test automation using tools such as Selenium, Appium, Cypress, or whatever you have in your company, depending on the tech stack, and so forth and so forth? Yeah, are you able to do so? If not, you might need some help. And this could be a result of this category. Are you able to write test automation code? I mean, setting up something is different than just writing the code, just writing code, right? I mean, this is also a big topic. I know that many of you, and I know also many people in my company, they would like to become a test automation engineer. But I usually ask them, like, why do you want to become a test automation engineer? First, you should understand the basics of software testing. So if you don't know what to test and how to test it, how should you know what to automate, right? These kinds of things. So these are questions that I usually ask the people, like when they would like, hey, I need to jump to test automation. We need to automate everything. It's like, no, stop. Take a moment, think about what is the product? What do you want to test? Who can help your testing activities, and so forth and so forth. How mature is the product? And then we can talk about test automation. Are you familiar, for example, with page object patterns or any other patterns? So something that can fit into that really technical test automation or testing section here. Or another question that I usually ask is, have you done code reviews? Are you able to do code reviews? Have you ever talked to a developer while working in the team or in the product? Maybe you should pair up with him or her to get a feeling and an understanding of what has been implemented and how they have done their testing, are the unit tests there, and so forth and so forth. And this is also a really great question to ask in order to get some more lights into if a person is ready to do code reviews. Let's jump to the get it done section in the wheel. So what is this all about? When your work and testing activities are good enough to support a team in shipping new features for the client. Yeah, we all know that testing is never done. We can always do more testing. We can do some more non-functional testing, accessibility, usability, security, loader performance, and these kinds of things. But people should be aware of the moment when it's good enough. When we should say, okay, now we have a really good point of the application of the product, and we are ready to ship. And this is a skill and something that people need to learn. Especially young people tend to be like, oh, I have so many things to do, and sometimes they rush through the basic things and forget about the easy stuff, and because they have all in their mind, I need to do security testing and these and these and these, and they don't have a focus, right? And this is the category of what I have in mind here. If there are no when it's done, basically. Another topic is what to do in order to enable the team in adding more quality to the project, right? This is also something that we teach not only to our colleagues and to developers, but also to our clients, is that quality is a whole team responsibility, right? It's whenever I hear like, yeah, we need more testers to assure quality, it's like I get goosebumps saying like, no, stop. We cannot test quality in the product, right? We can only develop the quality in the product, and we should start from the very beginning of the project thinking about quality measures. And this is an aspect that I see here in this category is something that we need to teach and to teach to people, to testers, to developers, to actually establish that mindset. Next category is listen and learn. Yeah, it's a classic, I would say. You are open for feedback about your work within the department or as well as in the project. If there are people out there that they hate getting feedback. Yeah, it's somehow okay and somehow not, because feedback is something really valuable and really something good. But also young people, you need to tell them and to teach them like that feedback is nothing bad, right? And of course, for those who give feedback, it's important to give it in a correct way, in in a nice way, in an open and honest way, not saying, okay, this was really bad. You have done a bad job. This like really direct thing, this doesn't help and doesn't bring anyone further. Another thing is you are open-minded to improve your skills. So you are keen to learn new things. You are open for advices and these kind of things. So this is a really personal thing in the testing wheel that you can use in order to see where the person stands. Another question that you can ask is, you are proactively looking for new learning opportunities. So is the colleague that you have in your team or in your company, is he or she willing to, for example, attending conferences like these? Is he or she willing to reading books, sharing knowledge within the team, and so forth and so forth? This is also important because we as testers, we have to communicate with many different stakeholders, and so this proactivity is something really important for us to evolve and to learn. Okay, let's jump into the category. I think we're on the 5th category now. It's the testing team. And what is this all about? Testing team. Yeah, you are supporting and engaging with your testing team and department. This is a big topic actually. Sometimes in my case, because we have now 43 people in the department. We have 43 software testing experts in the department. And since we're working client-based and customer-based, we are like usually on the project on the customer side, working there with developers, and we don't have like a one single product that we're working for and that we are focused working with and for. And this leads to the topic that we need to sometimes, not sometimes, but usually to bring back topics that we learned on the projects, like what were challenges, what were experiences with different tools or with different technology stacks and so forth and so forth. And it's important that you bring back those values, information, and your learnings, and maybe also your failures back to the team, to share it with your team, to grow all together. You are contributing to the overall department goals. Yes, if you have department goals in your company, each and everyone should contribute to them, because then you work all together in one direction and you can achieve really great things. Another question that you can ask is, you are adding value or contributing to the department meetings. So for example, if there are like department meetings, being it weekly, monthly, or company meetings, are you going to present something there? Are you hosting a community of practice, for example? Are you leading and driving topics into those communities? Because again, that's helpful. It's something that for me, it feels usually natural, giving back something to people. Like when I started my blog, I had the feeling like, okay, maybe I never intended to write a blog that somebody is reading it, edit it on my own. But when I found out that the blog was helpful to others, it was really nice feeling for me, because I had the feeling like, hey, you do something that is long lasting, that is helpful. And for me now, this is somehow natural to help others, to support them, support communities. And I try to, to plant this little tiny seed in each and everyone's mind. Maybe it's growing a little bit, and then I think we can all benefit from it. Because you cannot expect from each and everyone in your team that he or she is like going on conferences, giving talks on big stages, and these kind of things. No, it's sometimes like the little tiny things that can make a difference. And you also interact with your colleagues, share knowledge. I mean, that's what I just said, actually. And yeah, last but not least, no, it's the 7th category I see, is the personal growth in the testing wheel. So are you investing in time in your personal growth? Yes, this is important. I mean, we all know it when you're working project-based, product-based, or you have tight deadlines, that we tend to lose the focus on our own, right, on our personal growth. I know some companies, they have training budgets, some they don't have it, so maybe you have to pay it on your own. But this is really well invested time that you should take into your personal growth, and you should ask for time to invest, to attending such conferences, to go on trainings, to read books, and to learn. Because otherwise, yeah, you're not growing, and you stay where you are, and you're not like getting better in what you're doing. are you using your training budget? I just told you with that, because I think that's important to use the training budget if you have some to attend conferences, trainings, participate in the, so many Slack communities now that we have on the testing side to exchange on topics to grow personally. And sometimes it's also important to not spend the training budget that you might have on just testing topics, but also on other topics like, let's say, presentation skills or conflict management or time management, or things that are really beneficial for your daily work life, but is nothing that you usually see as the logical next step, right? So people tend to do some certifications or attending classes, workshops where they learn about tools, but sometimes it's also important to learn more about yourself. What kind of person are you? Like, do you have different needs, and are you lacking different skills that might help you in getting your job done? Yeah. And last point in the category is the topic of agile. Do you know and do you understand the agile values, the principles, and the way of working in an agile environment? Of course, if you have an agile environment, right? If you don't have an agile environment, you can replace this category with any environment that you have, depending on your company, depending on your product, on your team. Because I think that's also important to talk about these kind of things. Is a person actually feeling comfortable with constant change that sometimes comes with agile development? Sometimes you work 2 weeks in a sprint, and the next sprint you throw everything away and just start all over, especially in startups, right? That's something someone has to be comfortable with. If not, this can be stressful for the person, can lead to health issues in the long run, which is not good. And you should be open enough to talk about those topics in both directions, right? From a direct report and also from the team leader perspective. So I hope you are all still there, because now we're looking at the testing wheel the first time. It's almost a wheel, right? It has the 8 categories, and as I said in the beginning, if you have maybe 9, 10, 12, 14 categories, even better, right? Then it becomes even more round, right? Filling all those sections in the wheel. So that's what it's highly adaptable about, right? So as you can see, we have the 8 categories, and we have a scale, basically. We have a scale from 0, 3, 7. I just came up with the numbers. You could also do it like 0, 5, 10, whatever is what do you like more? So what is the scale about? Yes, 0 means basically, so if you put a dot in the middle of the wheel, it basically means I have no idea about this. What are you talking about? I never heard about agile. I never heard about test automation, and so forth. 3 is something, okay, I know about this topic, but I definitely see room for improvement. I would like to learn more. I would like to gain more knowledge, and these kind of things. And 7 or above is, ask me anything about it. I know what I'm doing. I'm an expert. People come to me, talking to me when they have questions, problems in this area. I know what I'm doing. So this is basically the scale. And now maybe you ask yourself, how you can use it. So how to use it is pretty simple, actually. Usually what I do is I take up to 1 hour, 90 minutes, depending on the person, to introduce the person to the testing wheel. Basically, I showed the same slides as we did just now, but with maybe some more explanation, more detailed explanation in terms of our company, on the team structure, and to introduce everything, and also tell the direct report and the person, this is not for performance review. It's just for us to maybe also learn more about ourselves, to learn more about each other, but also to have some really valuable discussions afterwards. I just said it, and I said it again. It's for personal growth and support, not for judging. And it's important that you fill it out independently. So you can use the template that you can also find later on my blog. And the direct report is going to fill it out, and the team leader, and you do it separately. What I usually do, I introduce it in a one-on-one, saying, hey, let's do in 2 weeks. We talk about the testing wheel. Take your time, fill it out, think about the questions that I've put in the slides, and then we see where we are coming to. And then you map the wheels, right? And then we started discussions about the results. That's the real cool part. And based on the discussions, you can derive action items and next steps in order to help the person to go to the next conference, to learn more tools, and so forth. So let's take a look at it as an example. Yeah, this is really an example. This could be an example testing wheel from the direct report. So imagine you're a team lead, and you have a team member in your team, and this is the result what he or she filled out. So we have a pretty good understanding of the project, a good understanding of the testing essentials, test automation. Yeah, there is room for improvement. Getting it done, expert, listen and learn, almost there. Testing team, there's something that is going to be on this person's mind. Growth, agile, different results. And this might be the result of the team lead. Yeah. So if I look at the person, this might be my impression of the person. Yeah. So completely different. And just jumping to the next slide, I'm mapping now the results. You see, the direct report in blue said, okay, in agile, or let's start here, understanding the project, I know everything. The team leader thinks, there might be something that is going wrong here. So we need to talk maybe. It's almost at the same level. Testing essentials, both are clear. Okay, this person knows what he or she is doing. Test automation, completely different. Yeah. So the team lead thinks, hey, this person knows all about test automation, but the direct report not. Maybe he or she thinks there's more to learn, more support needed, and so forth. And then we do the same for the other categories. And where I put the red arrows here is basically is where the points are like going away from each other. And this is then basically the time where you start to talk about it. Like, why do you think you have to improve your test automation skills? I see it completely different. I know that you're an expert in Appium and Cypress and these kind of things, but this might be your blindsided view on the things, right? So that maybe the person has the feeling like, oh my God, I have the feeling that I'm a completely I'm a completely loser in test automation and I need more support. But maybe it's already helpful for the direct report to tell him or her, hey, I think you're doing a really great job in test automation. And this pushes the person again, yes, okay, somebody likes what I'm doing. And maybe my fear of, being bad in something is nothing that is true, right? So it was just my personal feeling. And so I think that's the really cool part about the testing wheel, and to start the discussions and to trigger nice discussions. I mean, that's the whole point of it. That's what I really love about it, to learn more about the persons and to learn where they're standing. And as I said, you can derive and exchange the wheel to your liking and to your personal needs. Yeah, so that's the cool part. So we are almost at an end. Let's take a look at the test takeaways. So as you can see, there's a link down there. If you go to my blog, I wrote an article about the testing wheel, and I added a template for the testing wheel. I think I added slides or PDF. If not, ping me. I'll share you the template, the PowerPoint template, so you can use it also on your company, for example. Yeah. So what are the takeaways? The testing wheel helps the lead, the team lead, and to coach testers. Right? It really helps you to grow people. As I said multiple times, don't use it as performance reviews. Just use it as a discussion to trigger nice talks and to see where it's going to. I like always to derive concrete growth action items to give the people more guidance, saying, okay, maybe this is a long-term goal, or this might be a quarterly goal for you to get better in automation, to get better in agile, in testing essentials, whatever fits to the company, to the category. Repeat the exercise after some time. Yeah, see, save the results somewhere, and then maybe in half a year or a year, you do the same thing again. Map it again, see if there's like any progress, or the categories have changed, and so forth. Adapt the wheel to your need. I also said this multiple times. If you have more than 8 categories, or if you think that 8 categories is not enough, it's also fine. If you have only 3 or 4 categories, it's also fine. then it's not maybe a wheel anymore, but at least it can be helpful for you in to trigger those discussions. And with that, I'm done. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time, for all the emojis that I've seen down there. And yeah, let me know if you have questions.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for the wonderful session. Very insightful.
You're welcome.
Before we move on to the Q&A session, I hope audience found this session very helpful. We will be recording all these sessions and will be posted on our YouTube that can be referred back for your reference. So first question here, and I'll also show it up on your on the screen. You can stop sharing your presentation.
Okay. There we go.
So first question from Manish is, what is the ideal ratio for developers and testers in a team?
1-to-1. that would be an ideal world, but yeah, this is of course not the case, right? I mean, I've never seen a team where you have like five testers, 5 developers and 5 testers. This would be dreamland, right? I think a ratio of maybe 4-to-1 is working quite well. So having 4 developers and 1 tester in a team is something that I see is working out. I worked a couple of years back then in those kind of ratios, and it felt always good. I also worked once in a team where I had 12 developers, and myself, it doesn't felt good. But at least it triggered some really nice discussions again, also on the whole team quality thinking. And I was able more in the coaching role back then, saying, okay, look, it's only me having the quality head on, which is bad. You should always get like a little piece of it, and we should all care about this together. And this triggered like lots of mindset shifts, and yeah, it was good.
Great. The next question we have is, how do you motivate testing teams, especially with small sprint duration and no time for the new training?
Yeah, that's usually tough, right? That's tough. What we do in the company is, as I said, we are working project based. When we usually send our testers 4 days to the client, working 4 days a week at the client side, so 80% of the time in a project, sometimes 85, depending on the level that we have in the company, and the remaining 20 or 15% of their working time, which is almost a complete day, we tell them like, hey, please focus on learning. Yeah, focus on things, share your knowledge. I know that's not the typical thing that companies are doing, but yeah, that's something that you should address, right? I mean, that's something that you should make transparent, and that's not also only testers having this issue. I mean, developers are the same, right? I mean, they have also the tight sprint schedules and durations, and there's usually this discussions about, hey, I want to attend conferences, I want to learn new techniques and these kind of things. And what I have seen in the past is that sometimes developers, they are smart, we are also smart. They sneak in those learning opportunities into a new sprint. They say, hey, there's a new library, let's try it out because it brings us benefit X, Y, Z. And this is also something that we as testers need to learn. We need to sneak in our learning opportunities into sprints, right? To tell like, hey, let's use a new format. Let's use the new thing, exploratory testing, and let's try it out, or let's use any heuristic in the sprint, or so forth and so forth. And then maybe you can try this out. Yeah.
That's an interesting thought process. Next question we have from Mark is, if you aren't getting career advisor support from your manager, what are some good resources to seek out for?
What I have to think. I was always lucky to have managers that gave career advices and support, but one idea that's just coming to my mind is talking to your co-workers. If you feel safe enough to talk with them, maybe they have the same profession working as a tester, or they work in another company as a software tester, and ask them for advice. It's like, hey, what do you think? What's the next career step to take? Or what is the community doing, right? I mean, there's so many great testing communities, smaller ones, bigger ones across the globe. See and ask there for advice. share your portfolio, share your CV, maybe your LinkedIn profile to them. Like say, hey, look, people, I kind of stuck in my current role, and can you give me some advices? And there are also some coaches out there that can help you in order to do the next step, and also some mentors. You can also take a look at some mentors that are available. Maybe ask, hey, would like to be my mentor? Help me in growing and getting better.
No. Great. And you guys, you can always reach out to Daniel. He's offered a couple of times. So yeah. Next question we have from Muthukumar is how to handle hybrid work culture, especially from testing team leaders' point of view.
Well, it's hard to ask a question back. Hybrid work culture. What do you? Now I get it. It's this pandemic thingy.
Yeah.
Working on site in the office or being remote. Yeah, that's really a tough one, right? I mean, in my company, we are not. We can work wherever we would like to work within Germany at least. And I mean, I spend my whole day in any kind of online chatting and video calls. But what we try to do, I mean, not what you're trying to do, what we do is we meet on a regular basis in the office, saying, okay, of course, if you have an office, let's meet for lunch. Let's not meet there for doing any work things. Let's meet there for some casual times, right? Like lunch, coffee breaks, evening activities, and so forth. What we do in my department is we met once a year all together in a nice location, in a nice hotel, and then spending time together. Yeah, and just try to have some fun, enjoy ourselves, and that's important to actually have this nice working culture. What we do on a daily basis is we try to share feelings, we try to share failures, we try to share latest tools, funny gifts, to have this engagement at least on an online on the online side. But it's a tough one. Yeah, it's not easy, and it's different for every company.
Yeah. Thank you. The next question we have from Sean Connors. What tool or resources do you use to interview individuals to promote to existing team members?
To promote existing team. Okay. No, I don't know. Use any specific tool there. I mean, what we use is communication, is feedback. Usually we have this. We call it performance reviews once a year in the company. I think all other companies are doing the same thing. And I ask for feedback in all directions. So I see, let's say a person was working for a different client. I ask the client for feedback. I ask direct peers for feedback, and to see how the person actually was working. I mean, I also do my regular one-on-ones meetings with my direct reports on a bi-weekly basis, and that this is already for me a good indication of, is the person happy, is the person making the next steps in the right direction, or if he or she's struggling. If he or she's struggling, I need to help. And then when we do the promoting thing, my company did but the company I'm working for, they did something really great. We have salary transparency. Yeah. So we have open salary bands. We have 42 salary bands from a working student to the CEO. Everybody knows the different bands, what you can make in this money, what kinds of title is behind, and what responsibilities comes with the next level. Yeah. And then when we come to that performance review once a year, we take a look. Let's say somebody is at level 10, and usually the person takes one step a year, and then we take a look at the peer reviews. We take a look, okay, who is on 10 or 11, and if this person is on the same side. If yes, it's a no-brainer, we promote. If not, we might talk about potential support in terms of trainings, workshop support, coachings. And because we like to have salary transparency, what we have, and we would like to have equal pay as well in the company, right? So nothing that it's okay, men earn sometimes more. They earn more in most of the companies than women. So this is something that we don't want. Yeah, we want fair salaries, transparent salaries, and And again, we have lots of discussions around the topic. Yeah, and we also have the case where for example, we don't give any promotion because we don't see that the person did a next step, for example. But this is something that we can clearly communicate and help them. We're not saying, okay, you don't get a raise because of you did a bad job, but maybe there was some personal topics in this person's life, right? Maybe some really private things that happened, and this of course affected his work performance. And this is something that we try to together and then find the best possible solution.
And yeah, I love the transparency and the whole concept there, tying your performance to the salary grades. Next question we have from Ileana, which will be very relevant to what you just answered, is when did you feel confident enough to step into the test lead role?
The first time I stepped in this role, I just fell into it basically, because it was, when was it, 2011 or 2012, I guess, yeah, something around that. There was a big reorganization in my company happening, and I mean, I was the only one having skills and knowledge in that particular field, and they would like to grow that field back then. And they asked me like, hey, you know everything about it. How do you want to become a leader in this topic? It's like, for me, it was like shocking, because it's like, okay, leader, this sounds like big, right? And so I just said yes, but I need help, I need support, I need coaching in getting a team lead or getting a lead in this kind of things. And back then I never felt ready for doing the job, but I learned while getting into that position. And I think it's important to have a good direct report or a good team leader, manager that sees the potential and is also okay with you in doing mistakes, yeah, on that way, and to get the support. And I think no matter which next step you would like to take, I think you are, the moment you would like to take the step, I think you're not ready, because you will learn so many things in the new role, right? I mean, when I came into the new company and became head of software testing, I had so many things to learn, and I'm still learning every day. And I think that's good. The important thing is that somebody has to see your potential and have to have the trust in this person that he or she can make it. And that's already pushing everything up.
Great. And with that, thank you. I want to thank you, Daniel, and our entire audience for taking the time out and showing the interest. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of the day.